Hey everyone, welcome back to Melissa's Kitchen Table. Today I'm going to show you how I make my version of apple pie cookies. So it's a short sugar cookie base, and then I cut the apples, put some cinnamon and brown sugar, and bake them all together. So you can use any recipe you want for sugar cookies. You could buy like the package mix, whatever you want, it's up to you. I will show you what I'm using. I have 1 cup of softened butter and 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. There's half. And 1. All right. You're going to need another 1/4 cup or so reserved to roll out the cookies. And then you want to mix this together. You just want to cream it together. In the meantime, I'm going to take 1 large egg, crack it into a separate small bowl. I also have the oven preheating at 350 degrees. And dump your 1 egg in. You continue to mix. If you need to, you could stop the machine, scrape down the sides, because you just want to make sure everything gets incorporated. You could also do this with like a version of a snickerdoodle cookie. It's pretty much the same kind of concept. So I am going to mix this for 2 minutes. We'll be right back. I am going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and you want to make sure it's powder, not soda. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Alright. You could also put almond extract in there too. I find that is very tasty. So I'm just going to add a little bit of cinnamon to the cookie. Again, you don't have to add that, and if you're doing just a package mix, of course you don't have to add that either. Alright, so to this, I'm going to add 2.25 cups of all-purpose flour. And mix that. Alright, I'm going to let this mix until it's all incorporated. Okay, so you don't want to overmix. You want to just blend everything together so that way you don't have tough cookies. And my oven is preheated at 350 degrees. And I'm going to let this dough rest for about 20 minutes in the fridge. So after the 20 minutes, I'll show you how I roll it out. Alright, so in the meantime, while that's going, I'm going to cut my apples. I was thinking about it, and you can roll the cookies out if you want, but I'm thinking this way might be a little bit better, so they're a little thicker and there's more time for the apple to cook. Because I'm going to cut the apples really thin and place them on the cookie. And I'm not going to cook them beforehand. So we're going to try to cut them super thin. Like, can you even see how thin that is? Like that thin. So that way there's enough time for them to cook on the cookie, and you don't have to cook them beforehand. If you cook something really thin like that before putting them on the cookie, I feel like they'll disintegrate and they won't look as pretty. If you wanted to do like really tiny chunks, you can, and you could cook them. That's up to you. So I am going to cut these apples really thin. Then I'm just going to mix them with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, and then once the 20 minutes is up, we'll get the cookies going. We'll be back. So there's a tablespoon of sugar. I put in a teaspoon of cinnamon, just a dash of ginger, and just a sprinkle of nutmeg. You could also use clove if that's a flavor that you like. I don't like clove, so we don't add that. And you just toss to coat the apples. Try to get all the sides coated, because we're going to put these on top of the cookies so it's nice and pretty. Now I'm only cutting one apple. It depends on how many cookies I get. If I need to cut another apple, I will. Okay, so here is the cookies. Well, actually the cookie dough. I'm just going to use a scoop, and let's see, how much do I want? I'll use this cookie scoop instead. So it's about that size. It depends on how big of a cookie you want. I don't want to be doing a ton of these. So I just roll it into a ball. Put it right on your cookie sheet. I just use a glass. Smush it down like so, and pray it doesn't stick like it did. Alright, so that wasn't a good idea. Roll it back up. Put it back down. Alright. There, get some sugar on the bottom of it, and hopefully this time it works better. Or not. Yeah, that worked better. Or you can stick it in flour. So then I'm just going to take some of the apples and, I don't know, just make a pretty design with it. Like that. Probably should have moved that one over more. So that's how I make our apple pie cookies. And you could roll it out if you really want to make different shapes. That would work. But I thought about it, and this way is just so much easier. I'll show you one more. You could also stick that, like I said, in some flour. Make whatever shapes you want. Alright, so I'm going to roll the rest of these out. I'm going to put the apples on there, and then I'm going to put them in the oven. My guess is probably 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how your oven runs. All ovens do really run differently. But I will let you know